welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. And we are here in Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Oh, thank you. Where's my free turkey?
You're going to reciprocate and say happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to Janet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You've been mean to me lately. I'm not going to say it. No, happy Thanksgiving. Threw you off with that one.
So, yeah, you got me on that one. So not only is it Thanksgiving week, it's Packers-Patriots week.
This is a big week.
This could wind up being the best game in the NFL this season. It's sort of shaping up that way.
I agree. I mean, a lot of people said maybe it's a preview to the Super Bowl. You don't know, but it's 2 hot teams.
Right.
But if you look at it, New England, and not to discount Minnesota, we'll get to that in a minute, but New England has, Tom, they've been beating first-place teams, been blowing them out.
Yeah, they've won 7 awesome. Straight. Yeah,
and a lot of the teams they've beaten, like I said, at the time they were in first place or they were a hot team, and they had some issues themselves 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago, and they turned it around.
They did. They've beaten Cincinnati, Detroit, Indianapolis, and Denver.
Yeah, so, all teams that was in first place at the time.
Now, most of those were at home. Indianapolis is the only one on the road. So they're kind of similar to the Packers. These are sort of mirror image teams in a way. But first, before we get on to New England, let's wrap up Minnesota.
Yep.
Everybody you talked to, everybody I had on the live blog was very concerned about whether this was an indication that the Packers aren't as good as they are, as people think they are, because they only won by 3 points at Minnesota.
See, that's mostly for the media and for fans. Mostly for fans. I think the media understands you got to win games. I mean, Florida State does it every week. They just win games.
Right.
But when you lost 3 games in the conference, you have to win games in your division, and you have to sweep teams you're supposed to sweep. You don't get style points in the NFL. Yeah. You don't do that. You just have to win the game. And I think that's what McCarthy does a good job of keeping his guys focused on that. Because I understand people see the 55 or 50 points back to back, and they maybe expected that playing a rookie quarterback. But at the same time, you know, players, you got to put these blinders on and say, I must win these games. And I got to get up. Of course, human nature would think you're looking past them to get to New England. But I was just glad they won the game.
I think if that game were at home, then I would say, okay,
that's a good point.
Maybe there's an issue here. They're not as good. No, they still have to prove that they can beat a team like New England, a good quarterback. Let's get to that. And I want to talk about sort of the Patriots, Bill Belichick mystique. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's almost like you're playing the Lombardi Packers in some way. And I went back and looked at how McCarthy approached this in 2010 when they were going in there with Matt Flynn.
Right.
And he was very matter of fact, paid his proper respect to New England, but did not build them up as, you know, the super team. They were in first place. They were 11-2 at the time. Packers went in there and played very competitively. Yeah. Fast forward 4 years, he's doing it the same way. You think that's the best way to go? Or would you know, Belichick, you'll see him in his press conferences, he'll build up the Packers like they're the greatest team ever. Yeah. Which way works with the players?
I think with McCarthy, we want to know, what do you tell us behind the scenes is the gospel, and what you tell to America, we take it with a grain of salt. But I will say this, McCarthy, if we put him in a dark room, put a light on him, he'll say, I got the best team. And I got the best quarterback. And I think I'm a better coach. Now, I think I'm better. I think my organization is better. We love his owner. Kraft is by far one of the best owners. But I think what McCarthy does is get his guy to understand the big picture. The big picture is we're in first place. We're playing a team that's hot. But at the same time, I want to be the team that cools them down. And we're accepting the challenge, and we're playing at home.
Yeah. And I think it's important to remember that this is an AFC game.
Absolutely.
And does not play as big a part in the division and the NFC. The Packers, the one thing to keep an eye on is they need to keep home field advantage.
That's true.
If they get home field advantage, then you would think they got a road to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. So winning is important from that vantage point.
I think so. It's a measuring stick for America, especially with Arizona getting beat. Teams, a lot of people have already picked the Packers to be in the Super Bowl. A lot of people maybe pick Denver to go to the Super Bowl. But after what you saw New England do to Denver, you would think, okay, it's New England. Now, if you have to have a level of concern that Detroit beat the Packers, but they dominated Detroit.
Yeah,
New England did.
Yeah.
So you can pretty much throw the records out, but at the same time, I think it's a game to watch both quarterbacks, and you definitely have to watch both running games. Eddie Lacy, big, powerful guy. LeGarrette Blount, Jonas Gray, big, powerful guys. Which coach was going to be willing to use their backs? And when Eddie Lacy gets going, I'm telling you, Tom, that was the first time he got 20 carries this year. They have to use him because you can run the ball on New England.
I think it was a good time for Lacy to have a big game
Absolutely.
heading into this game because now Belichick might have been totally focused on Aaron Rodgers, and he may still be, and say, okay, let Eddie Lacy beat us. But, you know, he's got to consider Eddie Lacy, just like the Packers have to consider LeGarrette Blount. Belichick lined up 3 tight ends constantly and ran Jonas Gray against the Indianapolis Colts and just pounded and pounded it. So, you know, that could be the recipe to beating the Packers. That's an interesting matchup.
And see, here's the thing. I don't think that Belichick would just play the 2 shell safeties when you have Darrelle Revis, one of the best cover corners.
Right.
Him and Browner. I don't know if you would waste them just jamming and sitting. But if you can play a legit man-to-man with Revis and double with Browner, that is a world of difference. But the Packers learned, though. They've learned we won't go against anybody that did Richard Sherman. They're not doing that anymore. We're going to find out how good 18 is. We're going to find out how good 87 are.
Exactly.
If you want to be all-pro and be in the Pro Bowl, beat these 2 corners, and I guarantee both of them will be in the Pro Bowl.
And we'll show on X's and O's. If you're a tight end, you got a chance to hurt the Patriots
No
too.
question about it.
You know?
That's a good observation because they focus so much on the wide receivers. They'll start Quarles, Rodgers.
Yeah, they could fall.
That guy's always open.
Yeah.
Richard Rodgers, no one covers the guy.
Yeah.
He's always open. I mean, he could be like an X factor, you know, to where if you put him in the game, they'll just lose sight of him. He may score some touchdowns. But it's up to Quarles and Rodgers to get together and say, you know what, I need you this week. No one's going to pay us any attention.
I think Quarles has been sitting there going, I'm here. You know, come on.
This can be his game.
Give it to me.
This
I've
can be
been
his
here
game.
all along.
Yeah, he actually won a game for you in Miami, and they got to give him a chance to be that pass-catching tight end.
They do.
And this could be the week.
Right. Great matchup. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. First time they've really gone head-to-head as starters. And
both of them have hot girlfriends and wives. That's something they got in common.
Yeah, I guess you could say. Well, they're both in show business.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better quarterback matchup. I guess, you know, Manning and Brady is good, but this will be really interesting to see how Rodgers handles not only the pressure of facing Brady, but the pressure of facing Bill Belichick.
I think that's a good question, but I think for the most part, if you see these 2 quarterbacks, you won't see 2 more fundamentally sound quarterbacks. Mechanics, everything that you want, throwing motion, everything is these 2 quarterbacks. This is the matchup that Aaron Rodgers has been waiting on. This is the matchup that Aaron Rodgers says, whoever wins this game, MVP. That's what it's all about. You got to, on the big stage, you have to win games like this. This is why we were so happy that you have Aaron Rodgers for these particular games. If you're Tom Brady, I beat everybody. I beat the guy that y'all consider the best, Manning. I've dominated guys. But the one guy I haven't faced that gets all this pub and who won the MVP a couple years ago is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So I got him on the scope.
Thinking about
Absolutely, he's thinking about it.
Yeah. And he's every bit as competitive as Aaron Rodgers is.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
I mean, he's not coming in here to lay down.
And I think Belichick to put together great game plans. But so does McCarthy. So it won't be chess this week. It's checkers. It's your move now.
Right.
No, you're going deep. So am I.
Okay.
You want to run your 2 big backs? I got one too. And guess what? You got a great tight end. We're going to make Quarles been in a position to do that. I have better receivers, you know, as a combination.
Yeah.
But guess what? Edelman may catch 12 balls.
I think what you're
they don't really care about that. They just want to keep him off the scoreboard.
I think what you're saying is it's just going to be player versus player, and may the best man win.
I think this may be the one time you won't see a team. It's individual. How good individual will play.
The matchups, yeah.
And I need, if you look at it, for the most part, this is a good way to end on, you need Clay Matthews to play like Bobby Boucher. He needs to be the water boy.
Right.
I think water boy Adam Sandler has 16 sacks. and he has to play out of his mind this week.
Right, and Morgan Burnett has to play like he's never played, like Charles Woodson, you know, or Tremont's got to play like Charles Woodson. I mean, they got to have those kind of performances.
Because they had some of the ugly, bad issues from in the past. Reared the ugly head against Minnesota, wide open receivers that we really don't know scoring on you. So, man, you sound fired up.
I'm ready for the game. Well, I'm really ready for Thanksgiving. Anyway, we're running late, and thanks for joining us. Be sure you go to X's and O's.